Hello, what is up everyone? This is Visa and I'm just coming at you with my own twist with a double deck profile, believe it or not, of the Relay Soul Standoff Mega Luck Box Troll Lockdown deck. For those of you who don't know, Relay Soul and Standoff can form a pretty annoying lock for your opponent, whereby you throw up a monster onto the field with Relay Soul. As long as it's there, you don't take any damage, and if you play it with Standoff, that monster you throw up cannot be destroyed, cannot be targeted, unaffected by everything. So that monster will just sit there and be golden for the rest of time. However, with Standoff, you have to target an opponent's monster as well and negate its effects, which has to be an attack position, which is fine because we're playing cards that you can throw up to your opponent's side of the field. And, you can target their Xyz monsters, particularly if they've gone into something where you know they can't rank up further, or if they've gone into a high-level synchro and again, they can't use that to synchro up to something else, then you can just simply target your opponent's monster. However, if you're running against something like a Necros or a Monarchs, they can just tribute the monster on the field, or they can use that monster on the field towards a fusion summon or ritual summon. So you really are, this deck is designed to be a rock up, play one game, and then get the hell out of Dodge, because this is not competitive in any which way, shape or form. It is all about the Mega Trolls. So I'll just jump right into it quickly and we'll go from there. So we run 3 Battle Fader for the stall, obviously, 1 Dogma, 3 Dreadmaster, because it can be special summoned, whereas Dogma can't, 3 Malicious, 3 Plasma, same thing as Dogma, can't be special summoned by Relay Soul, 2 Doggerun and 1 Radian. Those 3 are the Kaijus, so you can pop monsters on your opponent's side of the field and special summon these. If your opponent controls a Kaiju, you can obviously summon one to your side of the field then. So, not that this deck needs aggro, it's not about being aggressive, but if you really wanted, you could, in theory, attack with a 3000 beta. If you gave them Radian and then you had Doggerun, you could start beating down any cards they put onto the field, but it really isn't necessary. It's all about just getting that Relay Soul Standoff lock up and running. The reason I run Radian, or one of Radian, is to just increase the targets for Allure of Darkness. You could run 3 Doggerun, or alternatively you could run 3 Lava Golem. Obviously Lava Golem though requires 2 monsters from your opponent's side of the field to be tributed for its special summon. The good thing that Lava Golem gives you is if you manage to set up a Relay Soul Standoff lock and they decide to keep on summoning more monsters to try and get around it, not realizing that they can't, you can obviously excuse me you can obviously throw up Lava Golem and then slowly burn them, but because we're running Iron Core, you don't necessarily need to do that, so I find this is an easy way of going about it. But as I said, you can target one of their Xyz monsters or synchros that you feel is safe to target, knowing that they can't then utilize that with something else to get it off the board, because your opponent still can use that standoffed, if such a word exists, standoffed monster for those synchros, fusions, rituals, and just simple tributing as well. Not many decks still operate cards that need tributing in the main deck, but obviously Monarchs do, and Monarchs will just wreck you. So if you see you're playing Monarchs, just scoop and leave. So 1 Allure of Darkness, we're playing 12 monsters that are dark, so Allure of Darkness should always be live. 3 Chicken Game, because give me a card. Destiny Draw, because I want more cards, and of course then you can pitch Malicious to the graveyard with Destiny Draw, and then you can thin your deck out by 1. It's not a massive amount you're thinning it out by, but all of it helps. Hand Destruction, just to add that little bit of consistency if you brick first turn. Iron Core, this is your MVP, pitch it to the graveyard with Hand Destruction, or if you have 7 cards in hand, and basically this is ensuring that you never ever deck out. So if you've got 7, you'll pitch it end phase, start of your next turn, bring this to hand, pitch it again, because in theory you'll have your standoff relay soul lock in place, and there'll be no need for you to even worry about doing anything apart from bringing this from the graveyard and pitching it again. 1 day of peace, you just would. 3 standoff, terraforming, deck thinning, 3 trade-in, because we're running quite a few level 8s. That's why you could run 3 Doggeron as opposed to running the 1 Radiant, just so that you've got more targets for trade-in. I suppose that is the more sensible option, but you never know. Sometimes you run into a deck that is that has a lot of rank 8s in the extra deck, and you just think, well, I can't throw this up there because they can use it to exceed into something else. So that's why Radiant is there, just for that little bit of extra variation that you can use with Standoff and Relay Soul. 3 Upstart, because have some life points. 3 Reckless Greed. It is a necessary evil, Reckless Greed, in this deck. It's not great if you go first set one Reckless Greed and your opponent blind MSTs it, because you've got to set it off, and then the chances of bricking with this deck in the first couple of turns are reasonably high, because there are a lot of combo pieces that you need to put together. So that it is unfortunate that could be a situation you run into, but I still think you need the draw power that Reckless offers you. So 3 Reckless and 3 Relay Soul. Side deck, we're running that 1 Doggeron, 3 Jizukiru, again, just for the change-up. However, I don't think it works as well in this deck as it does in the other deck, which we'll come to in just a second. 3 Lava Golem, I think you could easily side this in for the 3 Kaijus, and the deck would operate in exactly the same way. It just gives you that little bit of extra tech that you could burn them for damage. And 3 Roboku, because you could remove the Reckless Greed and play a bit more stall. But the theory behind the Destiny Hero deck here is it is designed for maximum speed draw to get the necessary bits in hand. When playing Relay Soul, the only cards you really need to worry about are Solemn Warning, Torrential, Bottomless. So a lot of the time you do want to be using Malicious and Battle Fader as the cards that you summon from your hand for Relay Soul, but you can special summon Dreadmaster with Relay Soul as well. And the deck is so luck based that if they torrential you, then who gives a fuck? You're running such a cheesy deck anyway that you're not expected to win, and if you do win, it frustrates the opponent even more because the deck is so bad. But that's that deck profile. Of course, the extra is filled with just the best of level 12 fusions, and then the other deck is it's very similar to my initial Jackpot 7 deck. It's a little bit of a level 1 spam. It's not really a spam deck, but it's a level 1 deck. So 3 Fader, 1 Cyber Valley, 1 Kinker, just to drag that level 1 from the grave onto the field. You do need Kinker if you want to open up that number 13, number 31 play, which I suppose gives this deck, I don't say it gives it an edge, but it may give it a slightly different way of playing than the Destiny Hero deck, where the Destiny Hero deck is all about the draw. In the right circumstances with Kinker and 1-for-1, you can, if you Battle Fader their battle phase, summon Kinker, drag back something, and then play 1-for-1, you can go into 13 and 31, which is one of my favourite plays to do. So it does have that little bit of tech, although that is very conditional. 3 Lava Golem, 1 Mystic Piper, 3 Swift Scarecrow for them stalls. Chicken Game, as discussed. Hand Destruction, as discussed. Iron Core, as discussed. 1 Day of Peace, because you would. 1-for-1, just for that one play that you would make, and deck thinning as well. 3 Pot of Duality. I know, again, it has that factor where you can't Relay Soul the turn you play Pot of Duality, but if you're playing Pot of Duality, you're trying to get that one card, and hopefully you've got maybe a Swift Scarecrow in hand to dodge the one turn that your opponent might try and finish you off. 3 Standoff, 1 Terraforming, 3 Upstart because I have some life points, 3 Legacy of Yatagarasu, and 3 Reckless Greed. This is because the deck doesn't have quite the same power in draw that the Destiny Hero version does, so we've just included Legacy, 3 Relay Soul, and 3 Woboku. I was toying around with Absolute King Back Jack, but no. Jizukiru, this is where Jizukiru works a little bit better. because you're not looking to harmonise with trading. And actually, I think a level 10 on your opponent's side of the field is much more difficult for them to get round. It's almost impossible for them to synchro into a level 11 or a level 12 because of the conditions those monsters have for their summon. So I think it's a slightly more solid bet in terms of they're not going to be able to get out of it more easily, but then Lava does offer that burn damage. 1 Kinko, 1 Karibo, 1 Mystic, 1 Allure of Darkness, 1 Gold Sark, 1 Hand Destruction, 1 Soul Charge. For the extra, which is actually not really worth going into, but it does have a bit more playability, Ghost Rick Dullahan, you've got the number 13, number 31. Realistically, that combo is the only one you really want to go into if you're looking to make something of the extra deck, and hopefully you can just burn off your opponent. I mean, particularly if you give them a Lava Golem, they have to crash into you and take the 1,000 damage as well, so that works out quite nicely. 1 Utopia, 1 number 54, Shimoji because of that draw power, number 83 Galaxy Queen, Utopic Future, 2 of, and Slacker Magician. So there you go, there's 2 versions of the Relay Soul Standoff Lockdown. I said they are super, mega, ultra trolls decks that are not competitive, that you are not going to win too many games with. But for that one of, if you draw right first turn, it is a very fun deck to play and watch the opponent get infuriated with how this ridiculous deck, or either of these ridiculous decks, is causing it so many problems, and it is fun. It is fun to play. But you're not going to win a lot of the time with these decks. But those are my 2 cents. As I said before, I think the Melodious version is probably the most consistent one to play. I just wanted to throw up a couple of other variations that you could play for your Relay Soul collection. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.